So yeah, we're currently in my second year of this channel, and I'm going to probably be shifting around to doing some equipment reviewing, probably some coaching tutorials and swim tutorials, and I might even start going into life and financial advice. Well, I'm probably not the best at finances right now, but we'll get into that later. But anyways, today I want to do my first review, and that is going to be the Finis Tempo Trainer. The Finis Tempo Trainer is probably one of the most useful tools that you'll ever have, and despite its seemingly high price tag, it is well worth it. When you're swimming, like you can't exactly sense how fast you're going. Like yes, there's feel, but like if you really want to know how fast your stroke rate is, this is what can keep you on tempo. And you might think set it to like, for example, in a 200 free, you want to go at about 80 to 90 strokes a minute. Maybe you'll set this to around like 60, and then you'll be like, okay, this is not that bad. But then you swim a couple 50s, and you're like, oh shoot, this is bad. And then that's kind of how where you use this thingy to keep you on track. There's so many good use cases of this. One being the fact that this forces you to maintain your stroke rate throughout your set, and that is something that can hopefully translate to your race because if you maintain your stroke rate throughout the set, you kind of show that you don't slow down. Well, you might take more strokes, but that's another point. Key thing being don't slow down too much. And then and the other thing is versatility. This thing can be used for any race from sprinters up to distance sets, different stroke rates, but it's really useful if you want to like train race pace or just hold your any kind of pace. So let me show you the functions. You press this button and then it starts beeping. So right now we're going at about 53 strokes a minute, which is about 100 fly race pace, I guess. And then this button goes up. If I hold it, it will start jumping by 10. Well, now I'm about like 100, about like almost a 50 free pace. So you can go up to like 120, and then it just jumps up to 125, 130 because at that point you're really just like going into going spinning at that point with your strokes. And then I can hold down and it'll jump by 10, down by 10 if I hold it long enough. So now let's press this button for a while. So yes, this looks a little weird, but the idea is that 113 means you're beeping every 1.13 seconds. Most swimmers, I feel like, enjoy thinking of it more in terms of cycles per minute rather than how than frequency. So I guess this is the less useful mode, but I guess this is probably a little better for calculation also. So I don't know. Go with whatever your heart desires, I guess. And then same idea here. I just lower it down, and if I hold it long enough, but obviously with this, you know, you hold the lower, the quicker. Now I'm beeping every 0.43 seconds. There's another mode where you can just use intervals. I don't feel like this is particularly useful. Maybe you guys might have a use, but anyways, yeah. So that's kind of it. Maybe so now you might wonder, and I just hold this long enough? No, not. So I press these two buttons, and now it's off. So you might be wondering, how am I going to use this thing? So I know that when I'm at practice, like, or just when I swim freestyle in general, my stroke rate is like hella slow compared to how the way I race. So what I'm going to do is try to make sure that I'm not going hella slow when I swim by setting a tempo and trying to maintain it throughout the set. I usually when I train, I go for with freestyle, I go from 50. I try to bump up to 60 strokes a minute every once in a while, but yeah, but once get to around 60, that's when things get rough. So that's fun. That's always a blast. Yeah, yeah. Why is your stroke race? I don't know. So, so this is not only useful for freestyle. I sometimes use it in butterfly. It's a little harder to hear because like you're literally splashing water across your ears, but still useful. I can just get an idea of how I'm swimming, and yeah, I'm going to be trying to use this to be training, like just so I can feel sprint pace, just so I can feel like all sorts of different paces, all sorts of different speeds. And And that will probably give me a sense of how of where I stand and what I can do to improve, whether that's doing more aerobic sets or more sprint sets or going to the gym more. And yeah, that's it. This is one of the key tools I have for my goals next year at Club Nats. That 4x1 medley relay, always in the head. And yeah, everyone, 4x1 medley relay equals concert, sectionals equals full icon. Let's get it.